Oh no, oh my goodness. Okay, well, we know what she likes. Okay, I'll give you a little bit. Hi everybody, it's Robbie from Southern California. Here is the zucchini plant that I planted in a 4.5 gallon dish pan. And there is the zucchini. Now I see some issues that I want to take care of. Whoa! So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do. We've got a great big zucchini on here. This would be something that you would get at the grocery store, if not smaller, but I've got plans for dinner for that, probably tomorrow, but we're going to get that off today. Now, I've got other zucchini growing, but they're not growing as fast as I'd like, and then I've got some layering going on. So what I did here was, this is the 4.5 gallon dish pan, and I covered it when it was a little plant with tulle all the way around so nothing would bother it. No birds, no rodents, no whatever that might get to it. I then put the 2 pots back here simply for layering. This way, when I water those 2 pots, it holds moisture for this plant, which is fantastic to let it take off and grow my fruit. But I see things that I can do that would improve this plant on growing, being especially in a very small container. Now, if it was in the ground, I could just step away and do nothing, but it's not in the ground. I'm taking care of it in the container. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do, and that will improve it. So it will continue to grow a lot of fruit for us, and well, it will just do better all the way around, and it will do better for me. Right, Zoe? So now you're going to see me in action, what I do with a lot of squash plants. I'm removing the zucchini. I'm going to use that today or tomorrow. And now I'm going to take off all the leaves on the bottom it doesn't need. If there's no fruit under it and only above it, then it doesn't need those leaves, especially if they're turning yellow. It's just going to pull from the plant. I'm now removing those pots that I use for layering. Now I can see a lot of roots there, which means this plant needs a little more space. Now I think, had I just really doubled up on the water, it may have done the job, but I'm going to go ahead and put another pot there. I checked to see which one will work, and the bigger one works, so I'm going to go with that. Now, it's just a matter of putting in whatever I want. I'm going to put in some soil from another container. I'm going to load in leaves. Now, I took some earthworms out of the red tote that you saw me set up, where I set it up for the birds that have insects. I took some from there. Why not? It's there. And I just dumped a whole thing of kitchen scraps. There's eggshells and orange peels and who knows what's in there, a whole bunch of stuff. It even had maggots. But you know what? The maggots, unfortunately, which were doing a good job, it was a bucket that was sitting on my deck. You know, they were breaking it down. Well, they're underneath now, so they can't break it down anymore. But the earthworms will. Now I'm just going to water that really good. Not only is that pot going to bring more water to the plant, but it's going to bring so much food, plant food, free, which costs me nothing, to that plant, and it's going to take off and grow really good. And now I'm just top dressing it with leaves or wood chips, and I'm going to put my celery back on the top, and I'm going to prop my plant back up. This way now the plant will continue to grow a whole lot more zucchini for me. And you know where the roots are going to go? Inside that big pot. Now this is where I grabbed the earthworms from. Remember this? I set it up and the birds were feeding from it. Well, now it needs a little more soil. So I'm going to do basically the same thing, except I'm not using a container. I'm just going to go ahead and add in some dry leaves and whatever I've got around here. And then I'm just going to dump in some more kitchen scraps or anything I can find. I had a lot of that left on the bottom of the bucket, so I just dumped in some water, kind of cleaned out the bucket a little bit, dumped it in. Now I just top dress it with whatever I can find. That is going to work perfect. See? And even the leaves I took off the other squash plant, the same thing. Dump that. The earthworms and microbes are going to get rid of all that for me. You don't throw that away. Think about it. Nature, whatever plants drop their leaves, turns into our compost, which I call soil, and it goes back to the earth, and that is what feeds our plants. That's the cycle of life when it comes to plants. Now, top dress it with something, because earthworms have to be underneath. They don't come to the surface, and now we're ready to go. Isn't that cool? Just a good watering and a good top dressing to keep this plant moist. Now, this plant hasn't had any fruit yet. It's only a baby plant. It's only, a few weeks old, if that. But look how big it's getting. And that's going to do really good. And that's how easy it is to add more soil to your plant. And even the yellow leaves on this, I don't need it. I'm just going to push them underneath. They're going to do the same thing with as the other leaves are doing. They're going to break down, and yellow leaves don't turn green again. So once they turn yellow, might as well remove them, because the plant will continue to draw water up and nutrition up to it, but it's not doing a thing for the plant, just pulling unnecessary water to a plant or a leaf. That's no good. Now, just going to put the layers back, drop in some more leaves, whatever I can find, and I'm going to layer the pots back, and that's all there is to it. We're done. Isn't this easy? This has worked out really good. And make sure you water. Remember, zucchini loves water. It draws a lot of moisture into those leaves and the stems, and without water, you're not going to get any zucchini. So that's it. I'm done. So what I ended up doing here was I had room to put that onion back there. You don't want to cover the entire top. Yes, you can mulch it, but you want the plant to still breathe. I pulled the tool up just a little, which will support my plant. Now it's going to be fed by what's in this container. You could use leaves. I do that too. It just so happens I had kitchen scraps sitting out here for a couple days. Maggots even grew in there, but that's okay. The maggots, unfortunately, will not turn into flies. They're going to compost because they need to have air. But the earthworms that I tossed in there from the other container, I'll show you that in a minute, they're going to take over and finish the breaking down. In the meantime, I put my celery here so I can water my celery. My celery will probably try to send roots in there. The little walking onion can just sit there. And this is going to get a lot of plant food. And once the water starts seeping through, it's going to go to that tomato plant as well as that one. Now this thing, the problem is it may not have even needed this right now. It may have needed more water. It's going through a lot of water. Zucchini plants do need to be watered frequently because they use a lot of that in their fruit. But this should do really good. And then this is the container I made originally for the birds. I was just composting in there and catching the water, which I still do, which is coming out there because that's compost tea. And then I had put that zucchini in there, which is growing. Well, now, since I robbed a little bit from this with the earthworms that live in here, I went ahead and put the rest of the kitchen scraps in here. And then I covered it with whatever I found in the garden. There's some wood chips there, and there's leaves and stuff. And now I put this is a geranium. I don't know if this geranium's going to make it, but it doesn't matter. I can stick anything in there. But in the meantime, I have freshened up the compost in there. The birds really aren't getting much right now because the plant is growing and the top is now just, well, it's just compost. No more rotting matter. So there's not a lot of flies here anymore, but that's okay. We can switch things out and that's what works perfect. And in the meantime, I'll start getting zucchini in here probably fairly soon. It just got a new amount of food added into it. And all this cost me nothing. Can you imagine that? Just by going around and picking your leaves off and trimming them off and putting them in a container and then dumping them back. Even the leaves that I took off of that zucchini, I went ahead and put in here just because. No particular reason. I had plenty already for there, so I figured I'll just dump them in there. I don't need to sit them in a bucket. So I hope you got something out of this. I do it all the time. It works perfect. It saves me money, and I grow tons of fruits and vegetables around here. And now I'm so excited because tomorrow or tonight, I am going to fry up some ground beef. I'm going to grate this up and put it in there, and it's going to be a good portion of vegetables, probably throw in an onion. Sometimes I even cheat and open up a can of olives and I chop that up and put them in there, and boy, does that taste good in a taco shell. So with that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Did you see this? Oh no, oh my goodness. Okay, well, we know what she likes. Okay, I'll give you a little bit. Oh my goodness. She's never seen a zucchini. This is the first zucchini for the season. Look at this. Okay, I promise I'll give you some soon. I promise. Tell everybody goodbye. Okay, well, we know what her thing is, zucchini. Yes, I promise. I'll make sure you get some of it. Oh, yes. Oh, are you funny? No, I can't give you this. This is my first one. You'll get some. Say bye.